Hey there guys, my name's Craig from Magic TV. It's 9 o'clock on a Thursday, which means it's time for a Magic Stuff. I'm back from the USA, I'm back from Penguin, I had an amazing time. But I'm back in the UK and I'm back with a video talking about the Blackpool Magic Convention. I said on my video last week I was going to talk about the best and worst things from Blackpool. This video is the 10 best things that I saw at Blackpool Magic Convention 2022. And it is not a list of tricks, although there are a couple of tricks in there that give a special mention. I will be doing review shows and I will be doing videos on the tricks that I saw at Blackpool that are awesome. This is just a list of 10 things that I was super impressed with. 10 of the best things that I saw in Blackpool 2022. If you were at Blackpool, I'd love to know what you think. Leave a comment down below. I'd love to see it. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. But without further ado, let's go into the 10 best things I saw at Blackpool in 2022. In 10th position, we have being back. Being back. It was so exciting. Look, there's a lot of stuff that I actually, looking back, enjoyed about being severely locked down, not being able to leave my house. It scared the hell out of me from a business owner's point of view, and I probably worked harder than ever before. I was doing virtual shows left, right and centre. I was doing 7 or 8 virtual shows a day, and it was a very strange time. And there's a lot of stuff I hated. There's a lot of stuff that I actually quite liked. Let's be honest, if it wasn't for COVID, if it wasn't for lockdown, there would be no Magic TV. I wouldn't have set up Magic TV if everything had carried on running normally, because I just wouldn't have had time. The thought would have gone through my head and I would have gone, nah, no, stupid idea, Craig. So there's a lot that I need to be thankful for. And yeah, it was a horrible time and there's a lot of stuff that we shouldn't be thankful for. And I'm glad that I've seen the back of it, never to be seen again. But one of the things that I really enjoyed walking into the Blackpool Magic Convention was just being back around people, being in the same room as somebody, showing them a trick, being shown magic. Hey, let me show you this. Just jamming with people, just sitting down and having a drink with people and just chatting and just being in a social situation without having to worry about curfews or lockdowns or anything like that. Or am I breaking the rules? How many people are allowed in here? None of that. Just being around like-minded people in an environment where everybody loves the same thing, and being able to hang out with people that feel the same way as me. It's wonderful. And I did a video before when we talked about masks and no masks and COVID and no COVID. My attitude is very simple. You might disagree with me and that's absolutely fine. My attitude is we need to move on with life. We've had a year and a half where we've put our lives on hold, basically. Now we need to move on with life. And yes, people are going to catch COVID. I've caught it 3 times in the last 18 months. And if you are worried and you are nervous, or you're nervous about somebody who you know that could be susceptible to something, great, that's absolutely fine. You need to do the right thing and you need to stay away or whatever you want to do. But, we need to move on. We need to move on with our lives. And I thought that before, but having been at Blackpool, I think that even more now, because everybody there had an amazing time and it was wonderful hanging out with people. So the 10th point on this list is just being back. In the 9th position, I'm going to put down the gala shows. Nobody does the gala shows better than Blackpool, and that was shown 100%. There's some people that have gone online and they've been negative about the gala shows, and that's fine, and that's your prerogative, and that's your opinion. My opinion is they were absolutely fantastic. And standing backstage, because I was backstage for most of the gala shows I was backstage because of various different reasons, and watching the team backstage do their thing was just incredible. Incredible. Like how much time and effort goes into running one of those gala shows. I did a video on this. You can go back and watch the video. I'm not going to rehash what I said now. Suffice to say, I was blown away by how on the ball the team were behind the scenes and how dedicated they were to putting on the best show that they can put on for every single person in the audience, whether you are a performer, a compere, the person that sweeps up, the person that's on the monitors, whatever it may be. you should be really proud of yourselves because you really did a great job. And for me and many, many people that I've spoken to, it was appreciated. Really was. I thought that one of the best things at Blackpool were the gala shows. In 8th position, I'm going to, and this is kind of off the back of the gala shows, I'm going to talk about the amount of choice with shows that you could go and watch, because there was so much stuff that you could go and watch. You had the gala shows, and you had two gala shows. So you had one earlier on and one later on all 3 nights. But then you had the not the gala show on the end of the Sunday night, and you had the Beat the Wand, the Magic Podcast Live. But then you had Laura Lunder's Cheat Show that was on. You had the Magic Box thing that was going on. There were so many different things that you could go and watch. If you're into live entertainment and you're into watching magic, and you're into watching some of the best performers in the world do their thing, then Blackpool was absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, the place to be, because there was so much options. It was almost impossible to do everything. It was almost impossible to watch all these different shows. And, you add into that things like the Bear Pit, you add into that things like the Family Entertainer of the Year competition, all of this stuff. You look at it all as a whole and it's like, oh my gosh, forget about the lectures, forget about everything else that was going on at Blackpool. Damn, there's so much, there's absolutely so much that you can go and watch and you can go and enjoy. So I'm going to say in number 8, it's just the amount of choice that you had in order to go and see live entertainment. Okay, in number 7, I'm going to go for Shrapnel. I said I was going to throw a couple of tricks in here. The first trick I'm going to throw in is Shrapnel by Kim Anderson. I got to see him do this live on the Thursday night. Even before the convention started, I was there in the Ruskin, and Lloyd Barnes said to me, hey, you got to see this trick by Kim Anderson. I'm like, okay, yeah, let me show you. Watching it live, it was amazing. I really enjoyed the performance. It's very rare that you see something that just makes you go, oh my gosh, I want to learn that. Immediately, I said to him, put 2 aside. I'm going to pick them up off you tomorrow. I need 2 of those. I need them. I need them in my life. Why do I want 2? Well, I want 1 for me and I want 1 for my kid, because we're both going to learn that trick, because it is sick. And it really is. You know, if I have to make a list of the top 10 best things at Blackpool 2022, I'm going to throw Kim Anderson on that list. We're going to be reviewing it soon if we haven't already, and we'll give it a full review. But suffice to say, it is one of the most commercial visual routines I've seen in a long time, and I'm very lucky to see Kim perform it live a couple of different times. And everybody who saw it being performed live just immediately handed over money. It was one of the best tricks at the convention in 2022. In 6th position, I'm going to go for the Ruskin. Now, for those people who have never been to a Blackpool or live outside of the US, when I did a video on the channel before Blackpool, when I said, hey, these are the things I'm most looking forward to, I put the Ruskin on there, and somebody said, is this video sponsored by the Ruskin? No, however, I genuinely think that the place where you get the most enjoyment at Blackpool is outside of the convention when you go to the Ruskin. The Ruskin is like the unofficial bar for the Blackpool Magic Convention. It's where all the magicians hang out. It's huge. There's like lots of different rooms, varying different rooms. And I was there most nights. Me and Rylan were there on the Sunday night, jamming with Lloyd Barnes and jamming with Michael O'Brien. And by the way, just as a shout out, I'm going to put Michael O'Brien as one of my favourite things in this whole convention as well. Michael is such a lovely guy, such a talented guy. And, he's a good friend, and I love him to bits. And, just watching him do his thing over and over again is just, mind-blowing. It really is. Michael's such, he's a very valuable part of the magic community. And his YouTube channel, if you haven't subscribed to it, is brilliant. So go check out Michael O'Brien's YouTube channel. But the Ruskin itself, I saw some of the best magic I've ever seen in the Ruskin. Where else can you go and hang out? And that's going to be a thing on the list a little bit later on. But where else can you go and hang out and chat to legends in the magic community? I went down and sat next to Marvin Burglass and Michael J. Fitch, and I was chatting to them for a while. Then I went into another room and I'm sitting down with Kim Anderson. And then I'm sitting down with all these huge names in magic. And there's nowhere else that you can go and get that. I mean, the Ruskin is the place to be. And I was interested to see how it would be this year post-COVID, but it was just as busy as ever before, and everybody was having a wonderful time. I'm going to put the Ruskin down as one of my favourite things in Blackpool 2022. In fifth position, I'm going to put down the quality of lectures. I thought that the quality of lectures this year were great. Now, I didn't get to see that many lectures. I spoke to a lot of people that were telling me, oh, you didn't miss this lecture, did you? Oh, you didn't miss this lecture, did you? And I love the fact that it was an eclectic range of lectures. It wasn't just about the same thing. And a lot of conventions have that problem where it's the same thing. Everyone just does close-up magic lectures. You know, there were lectures by producers of BGT and that had been organised, which I thought was really good. There was lectures on stage and close-up, so many different things. It was really great. And although I saw Noel Coulter's lecture with Ryland, me and Ryland were there watching Noel Coulter's lecture, that was brilliant. That was like one of the best lectures I've ever seen. Noel is just a genius. He really is. I don't use that word lightly, but he is a genius. I saw my own lecture from my side of things. Yeah, I can't comment on it because I was there. I can't comment on my own lecture. I was the one giving the lecture, but it felt like it went well. But I spoke to so many different people that had gone to lectures and they loved it. And they were like, oh my gosh, the lectures were so good. So I think it's very challenging, isn't it, as a magic convention to get the right lectures and get the right mix, because not everybody likes everything. Somebody who likes one thing might hate another thing and vice versa. And I think they got the range just right at this year's Blackpool. I think there was a very good range of lectures. And it was a very eclectic range, and I think that everyone had a really great time. I don't think there was one duff lecture. Nobody said to me, this lecture sucks, and normally you hear that at a magic convention. But this year, every single lecture seemed to hit it out of the park. In fourth position, we have the Family Entertainer of the Year competition. I love the fact that even though they don't really do as many competitions as they used to, I remember back in the day when they had a stage competition and a close-up competition and all these different competitions, they've all gone by the by for various different reasons, of which I don't know, nor do I care. However, the one that's remained is the Family Entertainer of the Year, and I love the fact that the children's entertainers and the family entertainers have been shown some love. And those that for me, the Family Entertainer of the Year is a must-see event. Because the people they have in that competition really are the best of the best. And it's got even better since they've been doing regional heats. So if you don't know, the Family Entertainer of the Year has regional heats now. So the London area, they have a competition and the winner goes on to Blackpool. The Midlands area, the Scotland area, all these different areas have a competition, and then the winners go on to Blackpool. And that's just brought the quality of the acts up like really high. So now it's like an all winners competition, and you just watch those. And if you've ever avoided the Family Entertainer of the Year because you kind of thought, oh, it's a kids show, oh, I'm gonna hate that, go and watch one, because the entertainers in that act, in that set, or in that competition are so good. They really are, and they're playing it not just to the kids but to the adults, and to watch the acts and see them, I'm always blown away by the quality. There's no way I'm ever going to entertain. No way I'm ever going to compete in that competition, because literally I'll just get ripped apart because the quality is so high. Do me a favour, next year, even if you're not into kids entertainment, just go and watch the Family Entertainer of the Year, because you'll get a real buzz out of it. It's really good. Okay, so in third position, I'm going to do the second and final trick on this list, which is Minted by Craig Squires. And, it's Craig Squires really, but it was in the Craig Squires and Nick Einhorn lecture, which a lot of people said to me was amazing. But obviously Craig was demonstrating it on his stand the entire weekend. And Lloyd Barnes had been hyping this up to me for weeks before the competition, before the convention. He wouldn't tell me what it was. He just said it was a reimagined classic. Well, it is a reimagined classic and then some. It's so good. If you don't know what it is, it's It's a variation of, the old needle through matchbox, which then got bought out as Industrial Revolution by Jamie Grant, which then got bought out by Kayla Morelli as the phone trick that Joel Miranda bought out, which then got... there's so many different versions. Hollywood by Hanson Chen is the latest. Well, this is just great, because what's nice about this is you bring out this packet of polos and you show that you're penetrating through the polos, which isn't very impressive because there's a hole there. And then you literally just show that the entire thing is a solid brass block. And we're going to be reviewing it on the channel soon, but that was so cool. Like, I really like that. It's the sort of thing. And what's really nice, the problem with Industrial Revelation, two problems. The first problem is it's built into a pack of cards. So you have to carry a pack of cards around with you. Second of all, it's quite heavy. Well, because this is a polo packet, it's not as heavy, right? And also it's more organic. It just looks like you could have it as part of your everyday carry. Let me just grab some polo. You want to see a trick with some polos? Watch this. And you're in a coffee shop and you borrow a coffee stir and you just do this thing, and it look like it's impromptu, but then you do this incredible moment. So I think it's more practical for a close-up performer. It's more practical for a person who's out doing gigs. But not only is it more practical for a person that's out doing gigs, it also, in my opinion, looks better as well. So, and it's a lot cheaper than a lot of the other things out there. So there you go, minted. It's the one of only two tricks on this list that really grabbed my attention. Minted by Craig Squires. If you haven't got one yet, beg, borrow, steal one. Do whatever. Well, don't steal it. That's naughty. Don't steal it. But beg. Ring up Craig Squires and beg and say, please. Probably the best thing to do is to pay for it, I imagine. You might want to ring up Craig Squires. Don't phone him. Email Craig Squires. Forget about the beg thing. Just buy it. That's what you want to do. You want to email him and you want to buy a minted, because it is really, really good. In second position, we have The Legends of Magic. I referred to this a little bit earlier, but let me elaborate. Where else can you go and see some of the best magicians in the world just hang out, and you can just go up to them and say, hey, can I have your autograph? Can I have your photo? Can I sit down and show you a card trick? Whatever it may be. The best of the best were at that convention. And I love that. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I saw it from Ryland's point of view. Ryland going up to... like people like Wayne Dobson and people like Marvin Burglass and people like Michael J. Fitch, and people who's watched perform on TV, and people who's studied the careers of his entire life, and just going up to those people and getting a chance to speak to them and interact with them, watching things from Ryland's point of view. It was amazing. It was almost like experiencing Blackpool for the first time myself, because it was his first Blackpool. And he was overwhelmed, of just all these people around going, oh my gosh, that's so-and-so, that's so-and-so, that's so-and-so, that's so-and-so. And I just love the fact that, there's all these legends in magic that you kind of hold on a pedestal. And then you go to Blackpool and you just see them having a pint in the Ruskin, and you go up to them and you have a conversation with them. So good. That, for me, was the second best thing at Blackpool 2022. And then you have the best thing at Blackpool 2022. Now, I will be honest with you. I pride myself on being honest on this channel, and I am always 100% honest. However, I will tell you, this choice is because I'm completely and totally and utterly biased. But in first place, I'm going to put Ryland performing on the gala show. I have never been more proud. Forget about everything I've ever accomplished, ever in my entire career. Forget about that. The thing that I am most proud of is watching my 9-year-old son, who's just turned 9, walk out on the gala show in front of, 2,000-3,000 magicians, and just do an amazing job. And I've talked about this before. Obviously, there were technical problems in his first show, and I was even more impressed with how he handled that, because nobody, including myself, would have blamed him for crumbling. Nobody would have blamed him for just running off stage, because anything that could have gone wrong in that first performance did go wrong. And he dealt with it like a pro. And I genuinely mean that he dealt with it like a pro. And I loved seeing him handle that, because I was in the wings watching him and I wanted to run out and help him. And I was being literally held back at one point. He dealt with it. And it wasn't an ideal situation in any stretch of the imagination. But I think to myself, what would I have done? Because it was out of his control. There's nothing he could have done about it. And what would I have done if I'd have been doing his exact same act? Well, first of all, if I'd have done Ryland's act, I would have looked stupid, because I'm not as, he was very, like, I couldn't have done that. I would have just tripped over and broke my neck. But if I was doing his act and that had happened, I don't know what I would have done. I don't know what I would have done. And the fact that he was able to continue and finish filled me with so much pride. But then he was really upset coming off stage about it. He felt that he'd let me down. He felt that he'd let every magician in the audience down. He felt that he'd let himself down. And, amazing that Chris Cox and Paul Zenon and, Russ Stevens and all these people came running over to him to tell him that, to console him and tell him that everything was fine. Nobody would have blamed him. Bearing in mind he had to go and do the show again half an hour later after having all of that happen to him. Nobody would have blamed him if he turned around and went, I can't do it. I can't do it. After that experience. But he then went out in the second show and smashed it. And as I said in my Q&A last week, which you can go and watch, I told the whole story. I'm not going to tell it again. Michael J. Fitch has got a lot to be, Ryland has got... he's had a big part to play with that, and I thank Michael from the bottom of my heart. But to see him then go out in the second show and absolutely smash it and get a standing ovation both nights, but especially the second night. Both nights, both shows, but especially the second show. I've never been more proud. Genuinely, for me, that was a highlight of Blackpool. Now, it might not have been your highlight, and that's fine. But if I'm making a list of the best things of Blackpool 2022, hell yeah, I'm going to put my kid going out on stage in front of 2,500 people at the gala show and absolutely tearing the place down and doing a fantastic job. Of course I'm going to put that. Why would I not put that? That is the best thing that I saw at Blackpool, and that's one of the best things that's ever happened in my entire career. 9 years ago, when Ryland was born, if you'd have told me that 9 years later he would be in the gala show at Blackpool, I would have laughed my ass off. I would have laughed my ass off. Forget about everything I've ever achieved. That is one of the best things that I've ever seen. So, for me, at any rate, if I'm making a list of the top 10 best things of Blackpool 2022, Ryland's at number 1. That's just the way it is. So there you go, guys. That is a top 10 list of the best things that I saw at Blackpool in 2022. Let me know what you think. I'd love to know your thoughts. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments down below. I want to know what you think. I'm going to be back again tomorrow with 3 videos. At 2 o'clock, I'm going to have a shorts. At 6 o'clock, I'm going to have a Magic Live. At 9 o'clock, I've got a really cool video. 7 reasons why being a magician in the UK is absolutely awesome. Okay, so that's going to be up tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Don't forget, you want to see more videos like this, you know what you got to do. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below, and I'm going to be back again tomorrow, like I say, with 3 videos, and then over the weekend, we're going to have 8 videos right here on Magic TV. Thanks once again for watching. I'll see you again soon. My name's Craig from Magic TV.